Okay, it's midnight and I'm very tired, and like almost every time I try recording a video, I've already tried once and it was too long. So I'm going to try to go shorter, which I always waste time with this explanation, wasting time. So, X-Men Apocalypse, like I said in my earlier post, it was exactly what I thought it was going to be, which was fun to watch, even though it's not actually that great. And there were a lot of factors that went into it, so I'm going to start with my personal negatives and then go into the things that I liked about it. I didn't hate the movie. It didn't make me angry, really, like Batman vs. Superman did, but I didn't think it was great like Civil War was either. Biggest problem I had, which I know sounds like I'm just jumping on the bandwagon because everyone says this, but Jennifer Lawrence, and what I think less people say, but it's the same problem, is Nicholas Hoult. Those two actors, I feel like, are just there for the money. I don't know the actors. I haven't seen them in anything else. I don't know what their personalities are like, but they're in the movies so much more than they need to be, and they're not in their... They're not blue. They're not in their superhero form. They're not in their mutant form. They're not in character. They're not the people that we, as fans of the X-Men, want to see, right? If we've read the comics or we've seen the shows or whatever made us love the X-Men, we don't get to see those characters because it's just Nicholas Hoult and Jennifer Lawrence for most of the movie. And they're blue very little. And I wish that they would get into character. I wish that they would, and I don't know if that's the actors or the writers or the directors or some combination, but it's very noticeable and very disappointing to me. That's one of the big... I feel bad saying it. I don't like Jennifer Lawrence. I don't like watching her act. And like I said, I've only seen her in the X-Men movies. Haven't seen her in anything else. I don't hate her as a person. I'm not happy when she's on screen for whatever reason. She looks pouty to me, and it seems like all she does is pout in these movies. And that's another thing is the writers or the directors or whoever, they don't seem to know who the heroes are and who the villains are. And like that happened kind of in the original trilogy, because Magneto and Mystique and then teamed up with the X-Men a couple, but it was still clear that they were the villains. And the stakes are so high that they needed to team up. But, like, these movies keep trying to make the Mystique a hero. And this whole movie, she's referred to as the hero of the mutants. And she's a villain. I don't know why they keep forgetting that. She's a villain. She's a bad guy. She's not... No. And Magneto, giving himself away in that factory for saving that guy, he murders humans all the time. Why would he risk his and his family's safety to save a guy? That's not Magneto. That's what a hero does. That's not Magneto. So, we've got actors that aren't fully developed into their characters. We have characters who keep flipping back and forth between villains and heroes as the writers deem appropriate, even though it makes no sense. The other really big thing with this movie that bothered me was it was a little too much Superman Returns. What do I mean by that? There was so many clips and flashbacks and scenes that we've already seen before. And I don't know if they are expecting that people are going to see the 9th movie in a franchise without having seen any of the other movies. But that's what it felt like, and I feel like that's ridiculous. And with how many references and flashbacks and clips and scenes and homages to the previous movies there were, I'm like, that type of dedication to past material should only be done in one of two cases. One, it's the first sequel in decades, which it's not. Or two, it's the final film in the franchise, which it's not. And it just felt really weird that I kept seeing flashbacks and scenes that I've already seen before. And the movie, to me, did not have enough action in it with enough of the characters. And I thought that was a big part of why. It's because we kept going back and watching stuff we've already seen. And the whole movie, I was sitting next to my brother and I was like, are the Horsemen going to do anything? Are the Horsemen going to do anything? are the Horsemen, and they didn't do it. And I told them, like, they're going to be in one fight scene at the end, and that's it. And that's what it was. You know, they're just standing around the whole time. He couldn't, you know, they could have written it to where they each had some task to perform. And you get to see each of them in their own right doing something rather than standing around Apocalypse. And standing around Apocalypse. And standing around Apocalypse. And it was disappointing to me. And that's something that the X-Men franchise has gone back and forth on. They have so many characters, which can be awesome, but not if you don't show them being the character. You know, Angel was wasted. I felt Psylocke was wasted. Storm, I loved how the girl played Storm. I loved her portrayal. Thank you for being so much better than Halle Berry. Not that that was difficult, but thank you. But she was barely in it. And the scene at the end in the Danger Room, I was like, I want to see this scene, and they're not going to show us the scene. I'm like, they're going to set the scene up, and then they're going to cut to credits, and it's going to be over. This is probably going to be the coolest scene of the whole movie, and we're not going to get to see it. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm like, again, they could have shown us each of them, even if it's not the whole fight scene. Because it's weird to end on a fight scene in a movie. I get that. But they could have shown each one of them going into the attack, going into the fight, and then cutting out. But no, they're just like, oh, the Sentinels are coming. Done. End. Over. So I felt there wasn't enough action. I felt a lot of that was because we kept seeing stuff we've seen again and again and again. Magneto is the new Batman. Every time we get a movie with Magneto in it, we have to see his origin again. Even though we've seen it before. It's just like the Batman origins in every version of Batman, even though everybody knows it. We don't have to see it again. We remember. He was a Jew. His parents got taken and then killed. And he got upset. And we've seen this. We don't need to see it again. And now Wolverine is becoming like him too. Because X-Men 1 was about Wolverine not having his memories. X-Men 2 was about why Wolverine doesn't have his memories. X-Men Origins was about how Wolverine lost his memories. And now, here again, we have the scene, which is fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong. I loved the Weapon X scene. And when it showed him with the mask and everything on, I was just like, this is awesome. But I'm like, but they're doing the Wolverine origin again. Okay, whatever. That being said, I felt this movie did a lot of things better than some of the other movies. I thought it did the Wolverine origin better than the Wolverine Origins movie. I thought it did Phoenix better than the movie about Phoenix. So there was a lot that I liked. I personally think, in my experience, this is the most comic accurate X-Men movie that there's been so far. I loved that they had Storm growing up as a thief in Africa. I love that Mystique finally, after 9 movies, finally, 6 that she was in, I guess, finally gets her costume. That made me happy. There were some other little things that I can't remember right now, but I remember thinking it was the best in terms of comic accuracy, in terms of my experience with comics. I loved Nightcrawler. He's my favorite mutant. I really liked him. I liked the way they used him. Obviously, the Quicksilver scene was awesome, even though, as the video going around the internet has pointed out, Futurama already did that. But those were both really cool. I didn't care for Jean either way. My brother really liked Jean. I heard really good things about Jean. I personally didn't care for her. I didn't think she was bad. I just was eh. I think I was more distracted by how much I hated Scott Summers, and I was just like, why do they always have to make Scott an arrogant prick? Like, can't we have one version of Scott that's good? And like, again, that was too, just like in the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie, we see him at school, struggling in class, teachers being a dick, and then he, like, almost the same exact situation as in the Wolverine Origins movie. We see all of that again with him, and I was like, we don't need to see this. Why are they showing this us? Why are they showing this to us again? Maybe it's just because I watched all of the X-Men movies last week, so they're really fresh in my mind, but it felt like there was a lot that we've already seen before, and if that had been taken out, we could have gotten more action, we could have gotten more character development. That scene at the beginning, that was a really cool scene to watch, but once it was over, I was like, okay, we have no idea who those mutants are, and we're never going to see them again because they're dead. And then Maury McTaggart explained in exposition everything that happened in that scene, so that scene was not necessary. It was cool to watch, but it was not necessary, and it took up runtime that could have been better used to show the characters that we are going to see again. I was really surprised that they killed Angel. When they showed him crash, I thought he was going to come back somehow, but they didn't show that at all. So I thought that was weird. It didn't feel like a significant death, though. You know, like, people say, oh, you know, in X-Men 2, Jean Grey dies, but not really. And, like, they say that they build up these death scenes just to undo them. But I'm like, that didn't even feel like a memorable death scene to me. I don't know, because they didn't get me invested in that character. He was in 2 scenes, basically. The scene where he fought in the cage, and the scene where he got metal wings. That was basically it. So, I didn't feel his death. There's something else I was going to say, and this is running longer than I wanted it to, but I can't remember. Little things like when Magneto is literally affecting the entire world with his magnetic fields, and their metal plane flies in, no problem. Like, I was just like, really? Seriously? Did they forget that planes are made out of metal? I thought that was really dumb. And a lot of the stuff in the movie just looked cheap to me. Cheap CGI, bad CGI, whatever you want to call it. Psylocke's blade in her first scene where she held it up to Apocalypse's neck. There was no dimension to it. There was no form to it. It looked like someone just edited in a pink line on the screen. It looked really odd. And the opening credits sequence with, like, the planes flying around and, like, traveling through history, I thought all of that looked really, really cheap. I'm like, this looks like somebody at my college did this on their laptop in a weekend. Like, I thought it looked really bad. And the scene where all the, well, I don't know what they're called, the transport containers, shipping containers that go on the ships when they're all flying up because Magneto is controlling the metal, I thought it looked really fake. And maybe I'm being spoiled by really good CGI in movies lately, but those things, it was just like, eh. And again, I can't help but think, if they weren't paying people like Jennifer Lawrence and Nicholas Hoult so much money to just be themselves, they would have more money for a budget. But like I said, I enjoyed watching it. I loved the scene with Logan. I do think a lot of it was really predictable especially when we got to the end of the movie. I thought the astral plane was cool, and then he was like, help me, Jean. And I just, in the theater, there wasn't anybody really sitting around us, so I was talking to my brother a lot, and I was just like, Phoenix Force! And then she went into the Phoenix Force, and then they're all fighting Apocalypse at the end, and they're all pushing at him, and I was like, Cyclops, full optic your age! And he takes off his stuff, and he does the optic blast, and that keeps going, and it shows Storm, you know, kind of meandering around, and I was like, alright, Storm, get in on it! The next shot, a lot of it was really predictable, which I guess isn't bad, but there wasn't as many surprises as I guess I thought there'd be. The scene where Psylocke, which turned out to be Mystique, had slashed Apocalypse in the neck, that was pretty cool. I didn't know what the hell was going on there. I was like, what? Oh! So, that was a cool surprise. I wish there had been more of those in there. I did, when Stryker showed up at the X-Mansion, I was like, oh shit, Stryker's gonna be in there, and then it showed the actor, and I forgot that he was in the movie, and I was like, oh shit! So that was really cool. There was a lot of stuff that I liked watching. There was a lot of stuff that I caught that was reference to the comics that I liked. I really liked Nightcrawler. I feel like of all the characters that have been played by a future cast and a past cast, or by 2 different actors, Nightcrawler has been the closest between the 2 different actors, the closest to the same portrayal. I really liked him. Obviously, it'd be sweet to see him do some fencing in a movie, but what are you gonna do? So, that's where I'm at. Like I said, it was fun to watch. I'll probably go see it again over the summer. School's out, so I'm on summer break until August, so I'll probably go see it again. And I'm gonna buy it. I'm looking forward to it more than I was looking forward to buying Days of Future Past. My brother pointed out that Jubilee was hardly in it, and I was joking that they're gonna do a Jubilee cut like they did a Rogue cut. So I don't know what really happened with that. I don't know if that's a thing or if she just didn't have that big of a part to begin with. But like I said, I enjoyed it. I had fun. I don't think it's a very good movie. I don't think it was done as well as it could have been. I can think of multiple ways that could have made it better. But I enjoyed it. I had fun. I'll probably see it again. So that's going to do it for me tonight. I'm going to go to bed as soon as I upload this. Hope you guys have a great day.